How many of you want kids in your lifetime? Chances are, almost all of you would have raised your hands. But how do you see yourself having these children? Most likely you want to get pregnant and have a child with your skin tone or your spouse's nose. But did you know that according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, 7.3 million women in the US alone are unable to bear children? So where do you turn? I'm here today to persuade you that adoption is not a compromise or something you have to settle for. Rather, adoption is a new chance of life and happiness. And it is just as rewarding as having biological children. But first, let's explore the types of adoption so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Adoption is a process where children become full, permanent, and legal members of another family. There are two types of adoption: domestic and international. There are three main types of domestic adoption, including state, independent, and private. State or public adoption usually handle children that are older, that come mainly from foster homes or orphanages. This type of adoption is associated with the lowest fees. Private and independent adoption handle infants. This type of adoption requires more services to finalize the adoption and therefore costs more. It also is the one with the longest wait time because infants are the most desirable age for potential adopting parents. Another type of adoption is international. This refers to adopting a child whose parents live in a different country. There is often little or no contact with the birth parents after the adoption is finalized. So no matter if they're 6 months or 10 years or their parents speak a different language than you do, all children need a home. Now let's discuss why you should adopt. According to the Department of Human Health and Services, there were over 500,000 children in foster care in 2006. During that same year, the number of children whose in foster care who had their parental rights terminated for all living parents was 79,000. Only a fraction of these children were adopted. Even with these staggering facts, many of you are still hesitant about whether or not adoption is worthwhile. I mean, after all, isn't the American dream to grow up and get married and have your 2.5 kids with the white picket fence? Let me assure you that life is never this picture perfect, and you would be providing a child with something far more precious than any idealized dream. You would be giving them a home. There are literally millions of adopted children in the US who received a second chance at life through adoption. Whether their second chance came from a birth mother who was ready to have an abortion, or from a child who lived their early years in foster care. But every one of these children were given a life that was financially and emotionally supportive, a life that helped them achieve their goals and their dreams. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are the pros and cons? Well, while it is important to explore each different type of adoption and find a method that suits your financial capabilities and preferences, the ups and downs of adoption are no different than the ups and downs of having biological children. You'll still ask yourself, will I be a good parent? Can I afford to have a kid right now? And even, will my son grow up to be a Yankees fan? These are normal, everyday questions for soon-to-be parents that have nothing to do with where the child came from. What you really have to determine is whether or not you're willing to put your heart, your soul, and your mind into a child even though they may look nothing like you. Some want a baby so bad that they believe that once they have that child, everything is going to be perfect and somehow complete. In truth, having a child through adoption or otherwise is full of challenges and difficulties. Any well-seasoned parent will agree with me. First and foremost, you have to put the child's priorities first. If you're willing to do that, you will find that adopting children can be just as rewarding and fulfilling as having biological children. And if one day you find yourself wrestling with the option to adopt or not, I urge you to open your hearts and think of what you could offer a child in need instead of what that child could offer you.